Welcome back to the Footnotes Podcast, the short-form show with the name to grow our mentality in running. Whether you're a returning listener or just tuning in for the first time, be sure to follow and leave a review. It's a great way that we can get these messages out to new ears. Today I'm joined by a longtime friend who's had an incredible running journey. Through every step of his career, he's an athlete who's carved a path filled with resilience and achievement. Whether you're looking for motivation, guidance, or just a story to brighten your day, you've come to the right place. I'm excited to share with you a conversation with my good friend, Chris Davis. Chris, welcome to the Footnotes Podcast. So glad to have you here, man. I'm excited to catch up a bit and pick your brain on some aspects of your running journey. So thanks for being here.
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me on.
So let's explore your story today. It's not just about the miles, but the mentality you've developed over your career. You've had a unique running journey, starting at Lansing Community College, then moving on to Saginaw Valley, and then taking some time off of college before joining Olivet. I know COVID was an odd time for anyone trying to figure out their plan, and for anyone in general just trying to see where the future takes them. So how did each of those transitions impact your mentality as a runner, and what did you learn from that experience?
There's kind of different things that I learned from each college that I went to. I went to Lansing Community College, Saginaw Valley, and now I'm at Olivet. And I feel like LCC was definitely like one of the biggest stepping stones just because it was my, coming out of high school, like becoming, independent on my own. I moved into an apartment, so like I wasn't with my parents anymore. So that was more of just like a personality, personal change. But I guess like from a running aspect, I kind of learned about like, okay, this is what college is actually like. And I used to think that I was like hot stuff in high school, but now it's like, okay, well, you just got humbled really quick. Then when I transferred to Saginaw, my mindset going into it, this was like, yeah, this is going to be great. Everything's going to be really good. This is a good program. But I think for me at that point, I was kind of in like, I call it like an athletic depression. And I wasn't super like happy with my performances or anything. Like I really hadn't improved that much in my PRs and stuff. So it, even though it was a great team and experience, I don't think it was the right time for me just because of where my confidence and abilities were. And so after I actually took a year off after I went there for 1 year. And that year off kind of helped me to like think about things in a different way. And then when I came back to Olivet, the team was super supportive and helped me kind of boost my confidence and drop my expectations that I had for myself. And that's kind of where I'm at to this day. It's just, this is a great support group. And like, I feel like I kind of got my mojo back, and that's kind of been like the main thing. So I guess Olivet's really been my comeback, my villain arc coming back or whatever you want to say. Even just being here at Olivet, there's a lot of things that I've learned just as an athlete, that it's helped me to grow and be where I am to this day. It's never like you're never at the end of your journey, but I feel like that I've learned a lot in the last like 2 or 3 years. I don't know if you can say the same about yourself with LCC as we were there together, but I don't know. I just felt like that was more of like a personal kind of develop as a person, and then I grew as an athlete later on in my career.
I could definitely agree with that. I know that was such a transition for us from high school to college. And along the way, we've met so many different people. And that leads me to my next question of how has the running community, both inside and outside of college, supported your mental well-being? And what role does that community play in your own running journey?
I guess in terms of community support, I've actually had a lot of support from the running community. The great people that I've met, especially like recently in the last couple of years, have really like changed me a lot. There's a sports psychologist here at the school that I started talking to last year that she's not even a runner herself. She actually was like a Division I basketball player, but she told me just to change like my mindset and the whole like running and like maybe not take it as seriously as I did. Not that I don't take it seriously anymore, but like maybe I was just a little bit too serious with it. Even like the coach that I have now, she was like a 3-time Olympic trials qualifier, and like just being able to like work with her and like see like it's okay to make mistakes and it's okay to like mess up here and there. Overall, like as long as you're improving as a person, that's kind of like the main thing. And not to mention like all the teammates and stuff I've had over the years that have been there for me for training runs and workouts and all the little experiences that you get on trips and stuff like that. I mean, all of that kind of just adds up slowly over time. And, you look back on it and it's kind of just like this huge thing. But in the moment, it's just like it's another step in the journey. I mean, I work at a running store. I work at Playmakers in Okemos. If anyone from Michigan is listening, they might know the store. They've probably been in there themselves. Amazing store, but really they have a big focus on reaching back out to the community. And as a running store, there's a lot of people that I've met and I work with that are part of the running community, whether it's like other college athletes, high school athletes, or people that are, retired from college and they're still doing it in their off time. Like this summer, I did this giant relay race with like 10 other guys, or there's 10 people on our team. And I was the youngest one on our team, even though like I was 23 at the time. And so it just kind of like opened my eyes to like the opportunities and stuff that was available as like a runner. And it really like helped me to just kind of like, I don't know, get my vision right and put me on a good track to like where I could see myself doing this for a while. And that helps me like right now, just in the ability to like, well, we don't have to get it perfect now, even though I'm in college and you think that that's like the end of it, but we can make some mistakes and it's just always a learning process. And yeah, the community's been really, really good.
Absolutely, man. I want to unpack kind of two of those things that you were talking about and touching on. One, you said the team dynamics at Olivet. I know joining Olivet's team must have brought its own set of dynamics, and I'm sure that you found something special there that makes you feel at home as an athlete. So how has being on that team specifically influenced your mentality? And are there certain aspects that are unique to this team that have contributed to your growth?
Well, I think I said this earlier, but one of the biggest changes, I guess, or dynamics with this team at Olivet that I've gotten is just like the support that I've gotten. I was saying, like, when I was at Saginaw, like, obviously that was a great group of people and everything, but my head wasn't in the right space. And the vision that they had, the goals that they had, like, were really great. But that's like, I just couldn't do that for myself. Like, my confidence wasn't in that spot or anything. And so I guess the dynamics of the team here at Olivet are more kind of like, let's be a team together. Like, not everyone's focus is to be a great runner. Some people are doing this just because they enjoy it. And like, there's people on our team that are just like, yeah, I love exercise. And like, I figured let's just be on a running team, And so that's kind of helped me to just like realize, like, put it into a different perspective of, you don't have to be perfect and enjoy what you're doing more. And then obviously like the support that I've gotten, like, I think people realize that I like have a passion for like running and racing and stuff. And they've definitely helped me to like curate that vision that I once had that I kind of lost. Between like my teammates and my coach, they've really just helped me to kind of like culminate it back together and get me back on the right track. So it's kind of weird because you would expect like, from on paper, the Saginaw Valley is a better team and everything, but like all of it was what I needed in my life. And so I guess even for like other people in your life, just because the great thing on paper, like I guess if you think of sports betting and stuff, the team on paper that's supposed to win doesn't always win. And so like the school that you go to or the community you're with, the job that you could have lined up, just because it looks good on paper doesn't always mean that it's the right one for you.
And there's such a close-knit community. I feel like when you go to these smaller schools, you're able to see people around campus quite often. You can really make those connections, I feel like, more on a smaller campus. And kind of to switch into, you were talking about some of the challenges that you have gone through just in order to try and find where home was for you. And I know every runner encounters challenges along their journey. We know it's inevitable, but these are the opportunities that really help us to grow. So could you share a specific challenge that you faced during that transitional phase between colleges and how you overcame it mentally?
There's a lot of things in life that happen for a reason, and even bad things in life happen for a reason. I mean, I guess if you look at it from like a religious standpoint, like Jesus was crucified on the cross for a reason. And, if you just look at it in the moment, yeah, I'm sure that it sucked to have his hands hung up on the cross and his nails thrown into him and stuff like that, and people spitting on him and whatever. But, obviously I never went through that, but, in your journey, you're going to go through like bad stuff in your life. And from a religious standpoint, it's like, that's kind of like God just telling you to like, hey man, I have a plan for you. Don't worry about it. Like, yeah, it's going to be tough, but I believe in you. You can get through this. And whether or not you're religious, I mean, you could just think about it in your own terms. Like, you go through bad things in life, and even if it's raining outside, there's going to be a sunny day at some point. So you make those bad days, those rainy days, you get through those, and it makes you stronger in the end of it. And then when that sun comes, you enjoy it, and you enjoy those happy moments. And I guess the biggest thing probably was like that year that I took off, I really learned about like being independent and being on my own. I didn't really run all that much, but I learned like my head got back into the right space of like why I wanted to run. And, by not running, by having all those rainy days, I kind of learned more about myself, what my goals and aspirations were. And then when I started back running for Olivet, I was in a better headspace, and I was like, okay, well, this is kind of like why I want to do it. So let's go after it more.
And building on that mentality, we've talked about it a lot. You just mentioned it just previously that you've worked with a sports psychologist. What was that experience like for you? And did you find it helpful?
Yeah, no, I've been working with a sports psychologist for a little bit now. I mainly started, I think it was like last year during somewhere between like indoor track and outdoor track. I took my second semester last year. I took a sports psychology class, and we went through this book. I forget what it's called, but we went through this book basically, and there was like things throughout it. But it basically went through with like different like aspects and stuff that are like just competition in life. And it definitely wasn't like running related, but then like I started thinking about it in my own life and through the running, some of this stuff like maybe I should try to like apply. And then I don't remember how I ended up having a meeting with my counselor, but like she's like my advisor, so I think it was just something like I had to like schedule an appointment with her for like classes. Then we started talking about like, yeah, I get really nervous before like I race, and I just can't race well because like I'm too worried about everything else except for the race. Then I started meeting with her basically on a weekly basis just before my races, and kind of going through like, okay, well, how are you going to manage the pain that you're dealing with? How are you going to manage the anxiety you're dealing with? And like different aspects of like techniques and stuff that you can use to like help yourself focus. And it's helped me a lot, but I'm definitely still growing. And then there's I'm trying to actually connect with like other people. Like I met with my high school coach recently, that he kind of talked to me about some stuff about like staying in the moment, in the present moment, and like meditation. I'm even taking like another class right now that I just signed up for with somebody that's more specific to running. How do you manage the pain of running and all that? Because the sports psychologist I'm working with she's a basketball player, she's not a runner. So she's helping me out in a lot of aspects, but like running related, I'm still kind of lost with that.
Still, though, it's interesting how sports can collide like that. And we all struggle with building that mentality, especially when it comes to, race day preparation or workout preparation. So are there any specific practice that you find most effective? And how would you integrate those lessons from sports psychology into your daily race or specific routines? Like you've talked about meditation, having a mantra, things like that. Is there one that really stands out to you?
I mean, there's a lot of things that I've learned. I guess I'll give like two examples. The biggest one, like before race, like a couple of days leading up to it, is visualization. So just like imagining a race happening. And it goes different for everyone. Some people can imagine themselves throughout the entire race. Some people just like to think about the race itself. I like to think about it in like a third person, almost like I'm watching the race unfold from like a different, like a camera almost. And I like to put in like music and listen to some like pre-race music and get like really amped up, get my adrenaline flowing and stuff. And it helps me to kind of like feel like I'm in the race. But then day of, I think the biggest thing that a lot of people can do is just have like a solid routine that you follow. So for me, like an hour out from my warm up, so I guess 2 hours out from my race, that's when I start to focus in, listening to music, kind of getting focused. An hour out is when I warm up, and then I have a whole routine that I'll go through after I warm up and do my run of just listening to music, doing my stretches, strides, and stuff like that. having that like set routine really just helps me to like, okay, this is what I do next. This is what I do next. And it helps me to like not lose my train of focus. And that way I don't have to think about what's going to happen in this race. It's just kind of like, okay, let's go do our heel sweeps. Let's do our quad stretches and stuff like that. So
I think that having routine is so vital for us as athletes. Like if we can get ourselves to build those healthy habits and also have fun along the way, I think that's such a great way to improve ourselves even outside of the sport and how we can be just a happier person overall. I know a lot of the times for us athletes and even college or high school athletes, balancing our lives can be pretty demanding. We try to find that rhythm between going to class, studying, training, working, and maintaining a social life outside of that. So, how have you managed this balance and what tips might you have for trying to find that rhythm?
I really love getting into like a routine. So it really helped me with my year off. Some things that I learned from it was really like building a routine. Every day, it seemed like I kind of just have like this set, like, this is what I have to accomplish and this is what I got to do. And when I can learn to like just focus in on one thing at a time. So like right now, every day I kind of have like a checklist that I make for myself. I just have it like written down. So like today, I had my class at 9 a.m. I have that checked off. I had seminar normally on Wednesday, but that got canceled today, so I crossed that off. I have podcast with Dylan at 11:30. I'm going to check that off after this. I have practice down. I'm going to check that off. And then later on, I got to work on the basketball game that we have at home. So for me, just being able to like focus in on one thing at a time and realize that even though I have other stuff to do, let's not worry about that now. Let's focus on what we're doing now. And I think that it also applies to running in the way of like when you're starting a 10K on the track or you're starting the 800 or whatever, you know, you got to focus in on the very moment right there. Don't worry about how much further you have left in the race. Don't worry about the other people in the race. You know, they have their own stuff going on. You have your own stuff going on. Just focus on step by step by step. And that's kind of what my high school coach emphasized to me when I talked to him recently. It was literally focus on one step at a time, like make each step with purpose. And that way, if you're only focusing in on step by step, there's nothing else you can think about. It's just one more step at a time. So kind of just breaking things down into manageable bite-sized pieces.
And making that list, pace setting, realizing to do one thing at a time can really increase, like you said, your focus. It puts intention behind everything that you do. And I also want to touch on something you said, you know, to take this break year or to take that year off. I think that's something that we both did. And whether it was on our own terms or not, I think that really helped us to grow, not only as athletes, but as people. And it was a transitional phase for the both of us to try and figure out where we wanted to go in the future. So I don't know, man. I think that it's okay to take that time for yourself, you know, to try and figure out what you want to do, where you want to go, who you want to be. And I was wondering your thoughts on that, like if you would agree or if you found that time useful and transformational to you.
I guess having a year off sounds like I was really lazy and sat at home and played video games all day. That's not what I recommend. I definitely recommend, like, they always think that like they got to go their 4 years and then immediately go into grad school and everything. But I would encourage people to like just take a year off of not doing school. Not only does it give you a mental break, but it also allows you to kind of experience like the work life, the work, like what it's going to be like when you graduate. And for me, that's where I realized like there's certain jobs and stuff that, you know, I don't really want to do. And, you know, obviously you can't get that experience if you're a college student. I mean, maybe if you work like the summers, but like having that like every day, Monday through Friday, I don't know, just the change of environment is really what you want. It's just that change of environment to kind of help you see different perspectives and get that mental break that you need. And then when I came back to school, like I felt mentally like refreshed. Like I was, after doing 12 years of school, like as graduating from high school, going to college, it was just, I was burnt out, and you don't even realize you're burnt out. But that year off of school really made me like refreshed for school and gave me a different perspective on what I want to do in my life.
And I think that's some great insight that you can offer to the audience today. I know it's not ideal to usually take those breaks, take a year or two off, but I do think it can be a point of growth. and it can supply the answers to the mysteries or the things that we're looking for. So to close out today, my last question is, if you had one piece of advice to give the listener, what would it be?
It's so cliche, but enjoy the journey and the process. When you're going through hard stuff, whether it's like a hard workout or like a hard assignment, studying, or whatever else you have going on in your life, just take a moment, just kind of like in your head, just be like, this is a struggle, but I'm going to grow from this. And this is kind of like what I wanted to do. Like, especially during like workouts and stuff, for me, it's like, this really sucks in the moment, but like, this is going to help me to grow. Or like studying for an exam, like, this really sucks, but it's going to help me to grow. And the more you can kind of do that in your everyday life, the more I feel like you're going to enjoy it. Just kind of realize like, well, this is just a moment, this is just a little trial that I got to go through, and eventually it's going to end and we're going to be good. And so I feel like the more you can do that, just the more you can kind of like enjoy your life, or at least like help you to manage to get through it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Chris, thank you for sharing your amazing story with us today. It's been a great conversation. I love catching up, and I really appreciate your willingness to share today. I know it will provide others with the insights that they need to grow in their own running journey. So best of luck in your future, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Hey, and good luck with all your the rest of your season.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too, man.
Thanks for joining us today on the Footnotes podcast. If you found value in today's episode, feel free to share it with someone you know. And don't forget to follow for more mindful content. Until next time, keep growing your mentality with each and every step.